All right, what's going on, y'all? So today I've got a little bit of a PCT update for y'all. I told y'all I would keep y'all posted with both the good and the bad. And you know, if y'all have been watching my PCT updates, you know that last week was a fantastic week. I was feeling way better than expected. There's been some new challenges come up, and it's different than what I would have expected before going into this PCT. And part of it, so today I just had my first run back, literally in probably about 9 months. Super out of running shape, but I might be dipping my toes back into a little bit of hybrid training, getting some running back under me. And part of that has to do with what's going on with this PCT, me coming off TRT. So if y'all been following along, you know that physically everything had been going well. This is the main thing. When I went into this PCT, after all the research, seeing guys trying to come off TRT after years of being on, they always complain about the physical side effects. They're kind of lower strength in the gym, lower drive, lower libido, kind of more the physiological effects. So I went into this thinking that this might be kind of a challenging time physically, having some of these kind of physical withdrawals from TRT. But my mental, I was up for the mental challenge of, kind of pushing through this hard time. And this has been kind of the opposite of what I've been experiencing. Honestly, the physical has been great. Even up until today, I've been progressing in the gym with literally every single set for the last 2 weeks straight. I don't know if that's just lower inflammation from, not being on TRT or what, but strength has been fantastic. I have a slightly, a little bit less energy. I'm a little bit more tired, but definitely nothing to be complained about. My work drive is still very high. Motivation is still very high. Libido's dipped a little bit, but it's still in a very, very healthy spot. It's just dipped down from, kind of that high TRT level. So physically, everything's been going great. The mental is the thing that over the last 5 days or so has been the thing kind of creeping up, being a little bit more challenging. And it's in a way I didn't expect. So with it, I've still got the same amount of drive, still got the same amount of motivation. Workload has been great, but there's this almost like devil on my shoulder kind of whispering in my ear of you're a fitness coach, you're in the fitness industry, everybody's on it. You've been on it for years. You should be doing this for your work. You're not going to be as full, you're not going to have as much size and muscle. Is kind of all of these kind of stuff that's related to exterior validation with it, which if you guys have followed along on why I'm coming off TRT, that's part of it. Part of this is a spiritual thing for me and wanting to kill off any of this kind of egoic attachment or pride related to my physique and all of that. And that's now what I've been dealing with. It's kind of this whisper in my ear of, why don't you just go ahead and get back on? You're never going to be as good as what you were. Your business, since you're in the fitness industry, you're a fitness coach, it makes sense to be on. And logically, none of this makes sense. I've got, with my client roster, and for the last 6 years, literally at least half of my roster is either always hybrid athletes or natural. I've built up my business now with all of my hundreds of client results. And then also what I've done physically, it's not attached to my physique at all. So none of this is surrounded with logic. It's literally all around pride and egoic reasons and external validation, which is why you hear a lot of bodybuilders quitting and then getting back on. Now, when I got off, when I stopped cycling steroids over 1.5 years ago and retired from pro bodybuilding, the decision to retire was slightly difficult, but the decision to come off cycling steroids really wasn't for me. I was more health focused, and I just wasn't vibing with it anymore. The coming off TRT, this is different. This is one that I had great blood work while being on TRT. From a health standpoint, everything for the most part was all right. I have had tons and tons and tons of clients that have just been on TRT over the last several years, and there's always some things that come up that you have to mitigate that you don't as a natural person. So there's pros and cons, but the whole point here is the only thing I'm really dealing with is not a physical downside. It's really purely on the mental, and this kind of whisper in my ear of it would be so easy to get back on. There's no harm of getting back on, and all of that. And it's not even like the conscious part of my brain. The conscious part of my brain, you know, argues with it and debates it and tries to put it to sleep. And you know what I'm doing to help, you know, one thing is like I'm coming out here to run, clear my mind, get out of the gym a little bit and stop being so, you know, surrounded by just strength and physique. But then too, you know, honestly, the biggest thing has been prayer. Anytime I'm having these kind of low moments, I just take myself into prayer, do the Jesus prayer over and over and over again, and it almost immediately kills that. But that's what I'm dealing with. So I told you I would keep you all kind of posted with both the good and the bad of coming off physically, doing pretty great, way better than I expected. The mental side, you know, I've been a kind of mental powerhouse, really mentally calloused for several years. So I went into this not thinking it was going to be a mental challenge at all. And that's what's actually being somewhat of a challenge. Now, there's no part of me that's actually considering getting back on, you know, guys. I want to be natural. I want to, you know, see if I can really recover my natural levels, which I fully believe I'll be able to. I got my blood work done this morning, so later this week I'll have an update for y'all on what the blood work looks like, what the kind of the bottom numbers look like, because right now I should be, you know, at the lowest point or just now starting to come out of the lowest point. So we'll see where they're sitting at. But, you know, that's what I'm dealing with. It's all just external validation stuff, dealing with pride, ego, all of that, which is what I'm trying to kill anyway. So this is part of it. You know, it's just like any physical challenge we'd have, you know, you got to tackle the, you know, all of the physical challenges we do all comes down to the mindset anyway. So now this is a mental challenge, and it's just tackled the same exact way. It's just a different type of battle, and it's a type of battle I've not really faced in a while. You know, this is similar to like if you had a vice, you know, or an addiction or something. You know, this is the whole thing too. You know, I don't believe steroids and testosterone is something you get physically dependent on, like in like you get hooked on other drugs. But there is a mental component to it, because your mind and everything, and your ego and your pride does get used to running at a certain level. So it can be addicting in some ways. You know, very much feels like I'm withdrawing from something. But, you know, this is all on the up. I am encouraged with how things are going. This is just, you know, kind of one of the things I'm dealing with. But I hope y'all enjoyed this. I'm going to keep y'all posted. And I'll keep y'all posted, too, of, you know, what I decide to do with this whole running thing. If I am going to dip my toes back into it. It was definitely fun today. It was good to get back out on the trails. But let me know if y'all have any comments, questions down in the comments below. If you could like that, smash the like button, hit subscribe if you haven't already. All glory to God. God bless y'all, and have a great rest of your day.